What's going on, guys, and welcome back to the SHPODCAST, the #1 podcast, assuming you're not listening to any other ones. It's a pretty small bracket, but we dominate it thoroughly. I'm your host, Sumito Media, here as always with my co-host, Andrew. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good, brother. How you doing?
Fantastic. If you guys are listening to this episode on Apple or SHPODCAST or any of those fun boys, just a reminder, there's a bonus episode that we record for every one of these over on Patreon. Today's one, me and Andrew spent a ton of time talking about our religious upbringings and how much we love Jesus now. It was great.
The answer is a lot.
The answer is a lot. We're big J heads. That's what they call us in the community.
Yep.
Slow as fuck Newsweek, Andrew. I did my best to try to put together some stuff that I thought was interesting, but I don't even know if I find this stuff interesting. There's a few things that are cool, to be fair, but like I feel like nothing happened this week. I've been watching a lot of clips of podcasters, like highlights and stuff, and first of all, everybody is worse than us. Can I say that? These guys are on their couches with laptops. They got shorts on. I'm seeing dick prints and knee-high socks in 480p, getting thousands of views.
They don't even have Land Before Time on in the background.
In what world? Is that the intro? I saw that in theaters.
Damn, really? That's so sick.
My cousin, I was so young, my cousin took me to buy a book and go see a movie, and I picked a pop-up Teletubbies book, and I've never seen the light in her eyes die quicker. And then we watched The Land, and then she was like, what movie do you want to see? And I was like, can we see The Land Before Time? And she was like, you know I'm 30, right? We can see something R-rated. And I was like, this one's got dinosaurs.
Bro, it's fair enough. Also, a leaf has never looked more scrumptious than the leaf Littlefoot's playing with right now.
That's
and
crazy.
The tree stars they were munching on, god damn, I've never wanted to eat grass more than as a kid. I was like, holy shit, that looks good.
I remember getting emotional when... does anybody die in that movie? Does his mom die, or am I thinking of Bambi? Somebody dies, right?
No, I think his mom or something dies in the beginning, and that's what sets them off on their little... Oh, yeah, his mom's dying or some shit, and he has to go get her tree stars or something, right?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's 20
I think
years
they
ago.
come back and she ended up dying anyway. I can't remember anymore.
Listen.
Something sad probably happens.
Red Letter SHPODCAST. If you want it, 500 likes, and me and Andrew will do movies every other episode. It'll be lit.
And I went and didn't graduate from film school, so you know it's going to be
You didn't finish film school?
I technically did, but I didn't complete all of my classes. So what happened was I filmed my thesis film. We're going into the second semester. I think I had some classes like gen ed shit that I knew I wasn't going to do anyway. And I was like, fuck it. I don't need a degree technically, as long as I've done the things on a film set. Most people don't give a shit. They're just like, yeah, he can do the job.
Sure.
That's what I was there for, was the experience, the know-how. I didn't really give a shit about the Liberty University degree.
Yeah.
But we got to the second semester, which was going to be where I did all of the post work on it. And that's when COVID hit.
Oh, shit.
So it all went to online meetings.
Wait, are you like 25?
I'm 30 this year.
Oh, you went to college much later than I did, I guess.
I think I graduated in 2015.
Yeah, you graduated about 2 years before I... Oh, you know what? I spent 6 years in community college. That's what it was. Yeah. That's why I'm behind where you were.
I spent 5 at Liberty, I think. I did an extra year to do some extra gen eds so that I could get into the film school. So I spent 3 years doing gen eds and then 2 years in the film school.
I tried to...
go ahead.
It doesn't matter. Go on. No.
Oh, I was just going to say, yeah, but it switched to online. There's no way I was getting my ass up at 8 a.m. to listen to a classroom. I fell asleep every time, and I was like, you know what? If we're not going to get to go into the editing labs to do all of the stuff that I wanted to do and learn, I'm just not showing up. So I pieced out and dropped out. That was the last of Liberty I ever saw.
There was a point in time, I'm just now realizing, between everything being online from COVID and AI not being as well known as it is, where you probably could have gotten a college degree in 4 weeks flat.
Probably.
With no qualms about the quality of your education.
Yeah, no, you could. There was a real brief window there where you probably could have speed ran several degrees.
Yeah,
easily. I still follow the Liberty subreddit just because I find it funny to see people occasionally be like, "I've heard this school is evil. Should I come here anyway?" And people being like, "It's not evil, dude. We just don't fuck with gay guys. It's not that bad." And then other people being like, "Do not go there. I was molested by a teacher."
That's a fair review, to be fair.
It's a fair review, but it seems like I don't even remember where this point was going. God damn.
Liberty 5 years, still follow the subreddit.
Yeah.
Well, we tried.
It was good.
Can't say we didn't try.
Can't say we don't try here on SHPOD.
First interesting story that I saw from this week. I'll go ahead and save you the trouble of sharing this one image of JacksFilms, but Dexerto reports that YouTuber JacksFilms has exposed a network of YouTube channels scamming their viewers with fake live streams. Now, you've actually had JacksFilms on the Beef Boys podcast a couple of times, so you might have been able to talk to this dude.
Friend of the show.
Yeah, so I haven't ever talked to JacksFilms. He's very much been a mythological character in the YouTube space, being as big of a YouTuber as he is. He's also from this area originally.
Yeah, Maryland.
Somewhere in Maryland, and then moved out west, and I feel like might have moved back east. I don't know. He used a green screen. I can't tell what his house looks like anymore.
The Mid-Atlantic.
There was a big conversation around when SSSSS Hyperwolf docs. So there was a bit of news previously where JacksFilms was on a live stream, and I believe prior to this he was basically making some videos on a second channel or he was making a video criticizing SS Sniper Wolf. This is somebody
on his
who
channel JacksFilms.
I think he made the JacksFilms channel in response to her response, right? So this didn't exist.
Oh
just
yeah,
yet.
You're right.
This is where
that was
this whole
the third
story
channel.
rolls up. So JacksFilms has been making videos for longer than you've been alive, right? He has been making YouTube videos alone for like 15 years. His main series, Yesterday I Asked You, was very famously parodied by PewDiePie in Yesterday.
Last week, Lawai.
Sorry, Lawai is PewDiePie's version of it, right?
Yeah.
Where he looks at memes and pulls stuff from the subreddit. That came from JacksFilms. The Alexander Hamilton rap. He's done everything from skits to reactions to this and that. At one point, he made a video talking about SS Sniper Wolf, who is a YouTuber that I've talked about in the past because she, no joke, does more views than Mr. Beast. It is
it's insane. Bro,
the amount of views that she does.
Getting random TikToks from like, it's clearly people who are probably 19 to 22 max. So like people who would have been in their younger teens when she was kind of first doing stuff back in 2020 or whatever. And it's just all people being like, my reaction when I first saw Sniper Wolf's boyfriend.
Yeah.
And it's just like a bunch of people who are treating her as just like a regular hot influencer and being like, how did she date a and it seems like so many average people don't think she's a psychopath.
Yeah, I
don't know how you watch any of her stuff and don't immediately go like, ooh.
I want to talk about how much
an off-putting individual.
I want to spend an episode talking about how much flanderization has affected the creator economy. So many YouTubers have like edges and nuances and branches of their personality and the shows that they make that just all get smoothed out until they become hot girl who reacts, Swedish boy who looks at memes, bald egghead who reviews music, and that's it. That's all you're allowed to be. Sniper Wolf did hundreds of billions of views, hundreds of millions of views a month, shitting on Mr. Beast numbers, just doing simple reacts, just putting up a compilation of viral 5-minute crafts or epic fails or whatever, being on the side of it and then going, oh my god, did that balloon really pop? You know, shit like that. And her editors would chop it up magically. It would not be uncommon to see this girl sit in her living room with a laptop with an hour of viral footage, make faces into a camera and make goofy, cute, kawaii girl noises that her editor would chop up into 5 videos a day, 30 uploads a month, 100 uploads a month. That would do millions and millions of views each. It was ridiculous.
I cannot imagine the AdSense. I can't even Oh my God.
Millionaire. Easily millionaire, right? Every month. Easily $1 million every month, right? JacksFilms was one of the biggest YouTubers to make a video talking about this conundrum. Basically, the quality of reactions that people give, whether or not you can even call them reactions, whether you could record yourself completely unrelated to what you're reacting to and just stick a webcam on the side of it and call that a reaction. It's basically just milking videos that you know have already gone viral enough to show up on your front page and then sticking your face on the side of it to then have it go viral again, but put that money into your pockets.
It should also be noted, Jack has a history of dunking on shitty React YouTubers, because he had that big video he did with Jinx. Remember that?
No.
Yeah, it was back when Jinx was popping off doing his reaction videos where he basically just watched the video and just was like...
Yeah, Jinx was the OG, this guy's not really reacting to anything.
And so Jack just did the exact same thing with Jinx's video, and he just
He's also done the same thing with paid product placement.
Yeah,
with
Jack is...
He's been a professional satirist for many
he's
lifetimes,
done it for so long, starting with the Apple commercial things. You know, he's absolute goat. Love that guy.
So JacksFilms makes this video basically pointing out exactly what I just said to you, which is that, hey, look at this extremely lazy content that Sniper Wolf is doing, and showing how like indicative this is of sort of the way that everybody makes content when it comes to like vertical content nowadays. He ends up making a second channel called JacksFilms, parodying Sniper Wolf's SS Sniper Wolf username, effectively doing the same thing. He would do these things live on his Twitch stream. At one point when Jack is live streaming, very famously, Sniper Wolf posts on her Instagram Live a photo around Jack's house, of Jack's house, with text over it that reads, "Yo, I'm right in front of JacksFilms' house for a shoot. Should I go say hi?" I think they've had some interactions on Twitter prior to this. This isn't the first thing that happened. It's basically her going, "Oh, wow, you're making fun of me for this. Let me live my life." The commentary around this was very much, you know, who cares? Like, yeah, Sniper Wolf isn't the role model of a content creator for you to be at, but like, this is low-hanging fruit, Jack. When she posted that Instagram story, it was effectively her doxing JacksFilms. I want to say she took a picture of his house or something to that tune, but there's a live clip of JacksFilms reacting to being told that Sniper Wolf has posted a picture outside of his house. JacksFilms, Sniper Wolf.
I will say though, like, 'cause there was a bit of commentary of like, who cares, but also I appreciate Jack for never holding back on people, regardless of whether. So, because like with something like that, it's like, yeah, it does. Like she sucks.
Oh, don't worry. I'm just setting the stage here. We'll get to what you guys should think about this when we get to it. I think
the fact that she ended up doxing him is a great example of like why he did it, because it's like you just get a sense for personalities, and it's like she couldn't handle someone making fun. Like, she couldn't just be rich and happy. It's like Elon Musk and any other of these fucking losers. It's just they can't handle being insanely successful for doing nothing. They have to be respected for it. And so I am so in support of dunking on these people, regardless of how like necessarily important it is, I guess, in the grand scheme of things, because they deserve it, and it makes them crash out and do things like this, and then hopefully we can, you know, sue them. And
this is from 2 years ago. This is a re-upload, well, maybe the original upload of a clip from JacksFilms' live stream, where he's just playing a game, and then what happens for our audio listeners is that he's informed by, I think, his wife, but maybe somebody in his voice call, basically letting him know that Sniper Wolf has just posted this post on her Instagram story of her seemingly right outside his house, is how it's interpreted here.
What?
Yeah, she really...
Wow.
Oh my god.
Ew. I didn't really believe it.
No, I just
But that's crazy.
How would she know?
Ew, I'm gonna. Alright, hold on.
How would she know?
I'm gonna tweet
Jack
that
just
saying,
turns
hey,
around.
please don't. That's creepy.
So this is everybody reacting.
I'll be
to
right
what...
back, everybody.
your house right now, Jack.
Shut up.
He's
You want to get a
literally
knock
outside
on your
your house.
door?
Like 5 minutes ago posted.
Wait.
Okay, so this he ends up.
Jack smiled, disappearing immediately, and just seeing it.
Yeah.
Just like, I mean, fair enough. Like, dude, that's would
crazy.
Fucking suck. Like someone that large dog. Like, oh my god.
That's crazy. Yeah,
I probably
At
would
this
have upped
point-
the iron.
At this point, remember, JacksFilms is north of 4, 5, 6 million subscribers on his main channel, but this is for many years. This is the biggest thing that has happened with JacksFilms. He's been known. If this didn't happen, our conversation around JacksFilms would be like, he was huge many years ago. You know him from this thing he uploaded 5, 10 years ago, that sort of thing. Or maybe this series that he started 10, 15 years ago. He's an OG YouTuber as old as PewDiePie, Markiplier, and any of these guys.
Yeah.
But this really reignited the conversation around JacksFilms because he was critical of this large YouTuber that YouTube was very much peddling to their front pages because of the sheer number of views that Sniper Wolf was getting with these videos. She was critical of him on Twitter, responding to him posting that video, and now she's outside of his house with a post on Instagram saying, "Hey, should I go visit JacksFilms?" Now,
Slight escalation.
Her explanation is that she was genuinely in the area. She meant it to poke fun at him. She wasn't flying out to show up in front of his door with an AR-15 or anything, right? But JacksFilms and the entire community was very quick to call on YouTube to do something about this, because this is very clearly an escalation from online drama and fair criticism of a system that she is taking advantage of to what can be perceived as a threat on somebody's well-being, right? At the very least, it's considered doxing to be able to, be right outside of somebody's house and post a picture of the front of their house on their Instagram story. YouTube would proceed to be radio silent for the better part of about a week, and then would eventually roll around to pointing out that this was not cool, and then removing Sniper Wolf's monetization on her main channel for the better part of a month. In that time, even though a month doesn't really seem like a fair punishment for such a situation, in that time, Sniper Wolf started re-uploading her content to a separate channel in order to bypass this, and has continued to just sort of be one of these snakes in the grass doing things or whatever. In the meantime, JacksFilms continued to make a lot of videos being critical of Sniper Wolf. A lot of videos talking about every single update that she's had. A lot of videos making React content continuing to be satirical of Sniper Wolf style, continuing to use that JacksFilms channel as sort of a stream highlights channel. JacksFilms did all of this, and people were sort of wondering if he was ever gonna get over it. If he was ever going to stop beating this dead horse sort of thing. That's been the conversation for the better part of the last 2 years. It's like, we get it, bro. This bad thing happened. Can you move on from it? At least from the snarky subreddits from which I see JacksFilms news occasionally arise.
There's always people harping.
I would argue he has actually done an excellent job transitioning from the OG YouTube channel of trying to make sketch comedy and reoccurring community-driven content to an interesting little deep dive investigation of internet culture, much the way that I enjoy doing on my channel. And to circle all the fucking way back to where we got here, his most recent video is about fake live streams that he has found on TikTok and on YouTube. So he's got this video that is titled "The Cringe Predatory World of Live Scammers." Here's basically what's going on here, Andrew. Are you familiar with Jason Nash from the David Dobrik empire?
Yes, I hate that guy.
So Jason Nash,
me the fuck out.
Jason Nash very famously fell off, as it were, by transitioning from being a B character in the old David Dobrik vlogs. These are YouTube videos that would garner tens of millions of views with a bunch of friends just hanging out, seemingly doing dumb shit. Very old YouTube sort of thing. Jason Nash was sort of the old, washed-up Hollywood celebrity character. He was that in real life, having featured on like some Nickelodeon shows and Disney shows and B-tier Hollywood movies and what have you, alongside Trisha Paytas and a number of other people that all sort of have their own careers at this point. Jason Nash's fall off after David Dobrik stopped really making those vlogs was begging on TikTok live streams for TikTok currency. And this is the first instance that I heard of, and with everybody in the world sharing the exact same experience of the internet that I do, because I'm the most important. I imagine also the first time you guys have heard of this. On TikTok, they have a gifting system. It's effectively donating money like you see on live streams, Twitch streams, super chats, what have you. It's a teeny bit different on TikTok just because they have you use real money to buy coins, use the coins to buy little NFT roses or whatever that put a little splash on the screen, and then a portion of those coins get given to the creator. TikTok takes its cut, whatever. So you will see Jason Nash in these live streams on TikTok begging people to send him galaxies, red roses, blue hearts. These are just the names of stickers and icons that if you gift somebody, they receive a piece of the real money that you paid to be able to purchase that thing. And evidently Jason Nash was content with doing this for an income. He stated very famously that he would rather be begging on TikTok live streams than trying to get a 9-to-5 at a fast food joint or something. He felt like having the Hollywood experience, the acting experience, the fame that came with David Dobrik's vlogs, he couldn't go back to just a normal job. He wanted to do something in the realm of content creation. If you're also aware, you might remember the Miles Morales Spider-Man guy on TikTok who would basically do backflips and then continue to just say every time you gifted him something, he'd be like, nice, thanks for that one. Or I'm Spider-Man.
Thanks, man.
Nah, I think I'm going to do my own thing. That sort of thing.
Yeah.
Recently featured in the I Show.
You gotta go save someone.
Yeah. You would gift a thing and then he would say a line in character in an effort to try to garner money. He got very famous for the fact that he made a lot of money doing it. Evidently many thousands of dollars a day just sitting on TikTok for 8 hours a day repeating the same voice lines for people gifting him stuff. This is something that can make you a lot of money, is my point. If you have a live stream that people are willing to donate that kind of money to, one would imagine it'd be something like a Twitch stream like me and Andrew do where we play video games and talk to you, but evidently not. It can just be, hey, send me thing, I will respond like a voice command robot, and that will garner me a ton of money. Turns out some people are even too lazy to do that even, Andrew. As JacksFilms discovers in this video that he posts on YouTube, some of these guys aren't even live. Some of these guys have a quote-unquote live stream running, asking people to pay money, or the next person who sends me something, I'm going to pop this balloon. Guys, we're only 5 follows away. If you click this heart right now and give me 500 coins, I'll open this surprise blind box and see what color Labubu we got. And they will be pre-recorded. Not just pre-recorded, they will be looped. They will be looped. They will play a video that gets to a point where it's like, guys, just 5 more, and then it'll loop to the beginning. You are watching a 5-minute video over and over again for hours at a time that are being suggested to you for the sole purpose of trying to trick unknowing children, let's be honest, to gift money to these people, unaware that they're not even watching a live stream. This is the scam of the century. This is the most new age peddling I have ever seen in my life. Andrew, your thoughts?
I want all of these people to perish. I hate this so much, man. It makes me so... Like, the TikTok e-begging thing already depresses me on a, like, where we are societally level, but...
Can everybody at home just appreciate the time we take to give you the back story to all this? Because, like, if I just went, Andrew, did you know that TikTok e-beggars are playing their videos on loops? Like, you got to know everything. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, you gotta get in the mud to really know what it's all about. But, man, the level of laziness to just, like, yeah, I'm going to record a looped video and try and make money off of that. I just... Like, I respect, you know, like YouTube slop channels that put together just clips of things more than I do that.
Right.
It's like, it's somebody not putting their face out there. They're just cutting together shit that they know people will probably want to watch. They're providing a service. You know, regardless of whether the content is, like, well made or not. It's like, they're doing some bullshit. And they're not, but needing to be famous on top of being this untalented and useless, I think you should just walk into the ocean.
What I am fascinated on like an educational level at the min-maxing between how much of an online career you need, how much notoriety, how much of a fan base you need, to how much money you can make out of it, becoming so short. This absolute optimization of an online career. Back in the day, you had to make something relatively interesting. You had to get people to watch you, and God forbid ask them for any sort of money or anything. You had to get hundreds of thousands of people to give you millions and millions of views, reviewing movies, playing video games, looking at memes, making original skit comedy or whatever, to get to a point where you got enough people watching you that you could then maybe sell a t-shirt, that you could then maybe tell them to buy NordVPN, pick up some gamer subs using discount code Sumito for you to make any money off of it. And then came in AdSense. YouTube introduced this ability for you to get a portion of the ads that they were paying on these videos, and now you didn't even need to ask your audience for money. The only thing you need people to do is to just watch your videos, and through that, if they get enough views, you can make money. So now all you had to do was make good stuff. And you no longer needed to get people to then pull out a credit card, buy your online course, subscribe to your Patreon, or any of that sort of thing. And then it got to the point where AdSense wasn't making enough money. People weren't making enough money from their views, and so they started to move into direct monetization. Why have 10,000 people watch your video for you to make $50? You could just have 4 people donate $15 each. You can join a membership, provide a super chat, get these people to pay you directly, and now you don't even need an audience. You don't need to get 1 million views on your video. You can just have the right 10 people click on your video and find it so valuable that they pay you. Or God forbid, get tricked into believing that if they give you money, it's going to advance a scorecard or what have you. And now you don't even need to have a channel. You don't even need to have an audience. You can grab iShowSpeedStream, chop it up into vertical content, take somebody else doing the work of going somewhere cool, and just grab that video, upload it to your channel, make money from getting that, and he'll pay you. iShowSpeed will pay you for every 100,000 views you get. He will give you $100. He employs thousands of people to do this specifically. So now you don't even need to grow an audience. You can just rent. So you can franchise somebody else's McDonald's location and sell your own McDonald's. You don't even need to invent a burger by any means.
I guess with that, I like it a little more because it's like people are being. It feels more like you're just kind of paying short-term editors of people who are like, oh, I get to make money off the views and iShowSpeed pays me, so like fuck it, like I'll just do this. That seems like you're kind of putting money into the community. Whatever the fuck this is, there's nothing of value being added to anything, to anyone.
Yeah.
No one's paying them to do this except for the people that. So like, they're not advertising anything. They're basically putting out an 1.5-hour long looping ad of them begging.
You remember the yes, 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 yum, yum, yum. Yep. You remember that girl? Exact same thing. They're just doing the absolute bare minimum.
It's even lazier though. It's somehow worse.
At least she was live.
She was live. She was there. Putting in the time. She was saying yes, 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 yum, yum, yum. The exact same pitch and tone every time. It was beyond impressive.
It was actually kind of impressive how much she was able to robotically recreate.
There's always one person who does something like that where you're like, this is dumb, but be blessed. You know, it's kind of like you just gotta. Then other people tried it, and it's like, you just don't got the sauce. You're not sauced up enough. Get out of here. You're cringe.
A few people. I need more bullets guy is also one of these. The Miles Morales Spider-Man guy is obviously probably the most famous, I think, just because he's got a streaming career now.
Yeah.
But it's like, I worry about how detrimental this is to the foundation of YouTube as a platform. Because arguably all of the same issues that we've got with like AI slop in the sheer quantity that it can be produced. You know, there's a certain point where it's like, you know, you can be a good F1 driver by just buying enough F1 cars that eventually you won't crash, and one of them will make it to the end of the lap fast enough without you crashing for you to then get a pole position and be a real driver with sponsors. But it's like, surely somebody's got to step in and be like, hey, so no, you're going to have to learn how to drive. You can't just keep you can't invent a way for these F1 cars to be free and just keep crashing and burning over and over and over again, filling the track with these broken-ass F1 cars. Eventually, you're going to have to you got to learn how to drive. We only want actual drivers here. We only want actual people who are making content here. And I think this is one of those things that's arguably, I would think something like this is worse. Now, I am not specifically talking about just people making live streams begging for money and not even having the decency to be live, looping these videos and uploading videos pretending to be live in an effort to deceive you into thinking that's what they're doing and making money. I saw a video about an individual, I think it was titled something along the lines of how I started making $10,000 a month without uploading a single video. And I was like, what? That's a lot of fucking money. I've never made $10,000 in a month. I've never made $10,000 in a year from YouTube, if we're being honest. Yeah. And this guy did it without uploading a video? What are you talking about? So I click on this video. It's only like 10 minutes long. And he starts the process by finding a YouTube channel that's for sale, which is already something that I'm like, what? I've been doing this as my job for 8 years straight, and never once did I consider selling or buying a YouTube channel. But this guy said that he found a YouTube channel in the anime niche, as he called it, and this is just this is just the flavor of re-uploaded content that a ton of these automation channels do. And it's this channel that uploaded hype moments from anime. It'd be the biggest anime fights. They'd pick anime fights, they'd stick them together in a compilation, little Watch Mojo number in the bottom with an AI voice going, Yuji Itadori versus Sukuna, and then play a clip from the anime with the image flipped and slightly blue shifted so it didn't get caught by copyright. And this guy said he found a channel that wasn't doing very well. Only 1,000 views a month, even though it had 500 uploads or something like this. And he purchased this channel for $1,000. And then he spent time using AI to change the thumbnails of each one of these videos and used the inbuilt YouTube editor to chop the 30-second intros that were on each video off so it just got right into the action. And by purchasing another YouTube channel, polishing up the already shit content into just slightly more SEO-friendly shit content, this guy started with, he added more hashtags, he used AI generation to pull up the best subreddits to post it in, and true to his word, without uploading a single new video and simply revamping this already existing, you know, faceless compilation channel, started to garner $10,000 a month and got something like several million views on videos that he didn't make, didn't edit. The craziest thing, were already uploaded over the course of the last 3 to 6 months, have already been uploaded to the channel. And just by polishing all of that up and throwing some money at pushing it in YouTube advertising, the paid promotion thing, he made a profit. And this guy made a video posting on YouTube the method of which he went to. I clicked on this thing thinking I could learn something as a content creator. Fuck me. This wasn't about teaching you, the guitarist, how to play the guitar better. This was a video for music producers in order to rip off musical artists by making remixes of remixes and reselling them to fucking, you know, indie porn budget films as background music. This is the farthest thing from an insight into how a creative is to create.
This is how I took somebody else's content and made money off of it.
Yeah.
Give me money to find out how.
And this guy bought this channel from a subreddit where people buy and sell channels, and this is all completely legal. YouTube allows you to buy and sell channels just like this, with proper abilities to transfer over email addresses and all of that stuff. Yeah. And people are using these things like big ticket poker chips and going all in, hoping that they can pull out money. And this guy at the end of his video, if I remember correctly, It wasn't even like, and this is my channel now, and I'm going to make new videos covering new anime, blah, blah, blah. No! He flipped it to start making income, and now he's looking to sell the channel for profit. He's not even going to make videos on it. He's not even going to be a YouTuber. He's just going to sell it to somebody else who's probably going to take it, revamp it.
Car fixer-upper. He takes busted-ass YouTube channels, fixes them up, and then resells it for a way higher price.
I would compare it more to like flipping houses, because at least with flipping cars, it's like if you're a half-decent mechanic, maybe you're fixing some shit. All it needed was a timing chain, and now I made $1,000. Okay, but you fixed a timing chain. Like, you know, if you're not a car guy, you don't know how to do that shit. But house flippers will, like, you know what I mean? Put in like a faux chimney. They'll like break HOA specs. They'll make the house unsafe to live in to like add stairs, and then just flip it in order to make money out of it. It's nuts to me. And I wonder, when are they going to step in? Because this can't be good. Even if, like, the idea behind YouTube is more people watching videos, more view number big, equals bigger number for us to sell advertiser, right?
Yeah.
If there's 100,000 people that are visiting your shitty little website, or if there are 100 million people visiting your shitty little website, that's a very different number for the "you won't last 5 minutes in this video game" banner ad that you're going to sell on your website. That can be hundreds of millions of dollars if you can promise hundreds of millions of eyes on it, right? But at a certain point, you have to imagine YouTube is going to be like, everything here is shit. It is all AI. It is all repurposed content. People are getting more views grabbing all the videos they've made in the last 10 years and putting it into one 10-hour-long sleep playlist than they are going about making new vlogs in New York City, showing people how they built their fish tanks. Hey, here's how to learn to play the guitar. All of that utilitarianism and personality that caused YouTube to become something different from every other video hosting site is now just turning into whatever. It's making the number go up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We got a second thing to talk about, but it's really just the same idea, honestly. And that's
What's
Viewbots.
it? Oh, God. Yeah, no, them shits is going crazy recently.
That's Viewbots. Here's another article by Dexerto. This is just the podcast where we read Dexerto headlines every day. That's all we do.
Welcome.
iShowSpeed recently went to the Dominican Republic. If you're not aware, iShowSpeed is a primarily YouTube streamer who recently has grown to popularity. I say recently, it's probably been 5, 6, 7 years now, where he does live streams in other countries. It's a little bit cooler than that because he's not just walking around doing nothing. Instead, what he does is he'll have a team of people sort of curate a lot of back-to-back stuff that represents the country. When he visited China, he had an entire stream that might have only been 3 or 4 hours long, but every 15 feet he would walk, they would have a new performer, a new Chinese TikToker, a viral meme coming to say hi to him, an electric car they were showing off, fireworks. Hey, here's this viral food. But it's like they bring it all to him.
Yeah.
So you can click on his stream and he's doing it back to back to back to back. It's really great, right? And, you know, there's memes. He's a little ignorant sometimes. He's a little funny sometimes. Dexerto reports iShowSpeed set a new viewership record during his Dominican Republic broadcast. So he's visiting the Dominican Republic, peaking at 1.92 million viewers on YouTube. Just to be clear, he did not upload a video that got nearly 2 million views. He was live streaming to nearly 2 million people live. I don't know how to put that into perspective. Do you remember the biggest instance of Twitch blowing up was when Ninja was playing Fortnite and randomly had Drake?
Yeah.
How many people do you think clicked on that live stream?
If memory serves, it was like, I feel like it capped out at like a couple 100K, didn't it?
300K.
Yeah.
I remember clicking 2 hours into the stream, and that was mind-boggling.
Yeah,
300,000 people
like,
watching a live stream
fuck?
is mind-boggling. LCK Worlds last year, League of Legends World International Championship, across YouTube and Twitch and whatever else they put it on, was like 1.2 million people watching the biggest esports scene, and that's multiple websites conglomerated, was 1.2 million people.
1.9 on just YouTube is suspicious.
The next sentence of this Dexerto post states, however, stream charts noted viewbotting-like patterns, including chat activity staying roughly the same as his previous broadcast. Now, we had another instance of this. Cobby Lame selling for $1 billion in the last episode. You know, even XQC selling for 100 mil to stream on Kick. I'm always very wary of these numbers. iShowSpeed would post an update stating that he reached out to the executives at YouTube and they were able to tell him that yes, that number was very much falsified. Viewbot-like patterns, somebody was viewbotting the stream, probably numbers of people, and they said that his real actual peak viewership, what do you think it was, Andrew? Again, this with Viewbots number is just shy of 2 million people. What do you think the real number he got from YouTube was?
127,000.
300K.
Ooh, okay, that's still pretty good.
Almost. Now that's an insane number of people to watch you live doing anything.
Insane number, because I mean, even like I remember at the peak of like Pokimane and all of them, they still capped out at 70, 80K.
In the
maybe?
Among Us era, you might be seeing numbers like that, right?
Yeah.
And again, this is almost exactly the same number, if memory serves, of Ninja streaming with Drake playing Fortnite damn near 10 years ago. That is what Speed was able to accomplish in one stream. But that is still, what, a sixth, give or take, of this 1.92 million number that was displaying for everybody who was watching the stream. That is how many people everybody thought was watching. Which means somebody viewbotted 1.3 million viewbots, which is insane.
Just now, a couple.
I want to just quickly explain what viewbotting is for people, because this might be a term that you're completely unfamiliar with. In the live streaming space, Twitch.tv, also on Kick and YouTube now that those are bigger players, viewbotting was primarily a Twitch thing. Because over on Twitch, no matter what category you click on, it is by default, and prior to an update a few years ago, the only option was to view categories in order of how many people were watching an individual streamer. If you went onto Twitch to click and watch just chatting, just to find people talking to their audience, or if you clicked on Twitch to watch Among Us, H1Z1, whatever game you want to click on, the list of people that are streaming that game that you want to view are listed to you in order of active live viewers, which meant there is a gigantic benefit to being the #1 streamer in a category, because you're effectively the only streamer in that category to somebody who's new and looking for a streamer. You are the first person they are going to see. And if you're clicking on a category to watch a live streamer, are you not going to pick the guy who's got the most people watching them?
You're generally going to pick the first one you see, just to, at the bare minimum, check the vibes. It's like, all right, this guy's got a lot of people in. He's probably okay. Let's see if I like him. If I do, I'll probably stick around.
Yeah, because you want to watch somebody who knows what they're doing. You are clicking to watch somebody else play the game, and there is a level of social proof that comes with seeing 10,000 people watching somebody versus 5 people watching somebody. One guy might actually be able to answer your question, know a lot about the game, play at a professional level, be extremely funny, and or have large breasts. You might find that lacking in somebody with only 5 viewers, right? So for the longest time, most of history, Twitch was sorted in this way. It was so bad that it would really dictate what people played. There was no reason for you to go live and play a video game where you're not going to be one of the top 5 viewers. You're telling me people are going to have to scroll before they see me live and make the decision to click and watch? They're not going to fucking do that. And the difference between you playing a game where you have 5 average viewers and being at the bottom of the list versus you playing a game and having that exact same 5 viewers but being at the top of the list, well, now new people who are coming to check out that game might click your stream, and you might actually get the legendary, hey, I'm new here, first time watching, what's this game about, love the stream, by the way, and all the other messages that small streamers thrive for. That is what keeps them going. That is the only reason any of us play video games and do stuff live, is to be able to talk to you guys. And it feels like a fucking headache when you're playing a game for 6 hours and nobody says anything in chat. It's a big deal. So What happened is people started to invent Viewbots. These are artificial people that would be quote-unquote watching your stream in an effort to bump that number up. Now, the difference between being somebody who has one person watching and being somebody who has 10 people watching can already be night and day. In a small game, or a game that's like 10, 15 years old, that might be the difference between anybody clicking on your video at all and people completely skipping over you. And getting 9 people to quote-unquote watch your stream is not tough. You could open a couple iPads and phones in your house. If you got 2 or 3 brothers that have a computer and a phone, just click your stream on their computer, do it on their laptop, do it on their phone, and now guess what? You've got 8, 10 people, quote-unquote, watching your stream. At least on the front page of your stream, it'll say 10 instead of 1. That's effectively what people do. They will have farms of cheap smartphones in a closet, and they could have 10, 20, 50 of them. And if you pay a small sum of money, they could send all of those to your stream for the better part of the first 2 or 3 hours. Maybe you're playing a game that came out just that day, and it's relatively indie. Maybe there's an update to your favorite gacha game. Maybe you just don't want to be at the bottom of the category. Throw in $50, $100 at that to make it so you don't seem like a complete loser might not be a bad way to get 5 new people to check you out, 10 new people to check you out, and now you've started a career where other people can just roll around in the mud for 10, 15 years without any success, right?
Yeah.
Viewbotting has gotten very, very sophisticated, Andrew. You know what they do nowadays?
What do they do?
What they do is they will take your live stream and they will embed it on a popular website. They will take the andrewbeef.tv live stream, copy that link, and make that player of you playing Fallout New Vegas.
With 3 E's?
Yeah, man. And they will shrink it down until it is only 1 pixel. And they'll mute it so you can't hear it. And they will stick that pixel at the absolute bottom of, let's say, like a Wikipedia page. And now anybody who clicks on the Wikipedia page for sodomy and is reading through, you know, spending 5-10 minutes reading through one of these popular Wikipedia pages will inadvertently be watching your stream. They can't see it. They won't hear it. They don't even know they're doing it. They don't even know they're doing it. And yet somehow, over the course of the 8 hours that you're streaming, you will have 1,000, 2,000 people. They're not chatting, you know, but
they're reading up on sodomy.
The number under your stream shows 2,000 because they're using this inadvertent web traffic. These numbers can be as high as 10, 20, 30,000. And we've talked a few times about a number of other live streamers that have been accused of viewbotting. But it has very much become commonplace enough, regular enough, easily accessible enough that it's kind of just considered a part of the culture. This is normal to these big streamers. If you start streaming and you have a slow indication of the first 5-10 people clicking on your stream, what better way to get everybody else's attention by just instantly becoming the biggest streamer on the entire fucking website 5 minutes into your stream? Yeah. You're going to get promoted on YouTube, you're going to get promoted on Twitch, and all it does is cost you $5,000 every time you do it. If you're making $50,000 a stream, who gives a fuck? It does kind of gatekeep everybody who's playing by the books, though, right? Anybody who can't afford to do exactly that. Even if you're a big streamer like Pokimane, if you don't decide to shell out that $5,000, 3,000 people watching you doesn't feel as big as it used to when iShowSpeed is doing 300K dicking around in the Dominican Republic, right?
Yeah, so if anybody hops into my next stream, please ignore the fact that I have 250 viewers and 3 people chatting. It's going to be very unrelated to our conversation here today.
As a side note, I've actually, every time I post on TikTok, because on my TikTok, on my YouTube Shorts this week, I have spent a lot of time uploading some of the highlights from our recent episodes of the SHPODCAST. And right underneath, maybe I can show it to you guys. Maybe I can show it to you in this video here. Let me see if I can just click on one of my TikToks.
I need to upload the rest of the shorts I've made from our backlog.
I guess not.
So bad about it.
When I uploaded those videos, there was a little pop-up right at the bottom of my TikTok app that said, buy 35,000 views for $35 on TikTok.
Bruh.
And I was like, huh? And I was like, first of all, that's not a lot of money.
Yeah, that's not
$35.
a lot.
to be fair, 35,000 views on TikTok.
1K. That's kind of sweet.
100,000 views on TikTok still pays $0. So that's kind of why they can get away with it. But it's that's such a little amount of money that it makes you wonder. Maybe not millions and millions of views on TikTok, but you could have the most popular TikTok if you're just posting casual stuff for $30 to have a TikTok that gets seen by at least 20,000 actual people. What the fuck?
Yeah, no, because boosting your stuff has been around for a while, but I guess it's getting real wacky with the viewbotting angle and all that. Well, did they find out who viewbotted? My guess is the Dominican Republic did for
my guess
tourism
would be,
boost.
My guess would be iShowSpeed's management. Because
I'm going Dominican Republic. The whole country got together and we're going to viewbot the fuck out of his stream, get some tourism bumps down here.
A number of big streamers had something to say about this, not specifically in response to iShowSpeed specifically, but to another piece of news about viewbotting from Twitch, which I will talk about right after this. Summit1G, one of the OG founding fathers of streaming on Twitch, tweeted out, streamer viewership peaks at around 3 hours. If a streamer is hitting their highest views in the first 30 minutes, ... I guess they're just built different, smiley face. Now, this is somebody who has been live longer than he has been not live. This guy has streamed 8 to 15 hours a day for 15 years, right? You could not find a bigger authority on what the normalcy is when it comes to patterns of viewership, right? And this is in response to a tweet that Dan Clancy made. Not a tweet that Dan Clancy made, a tweet that was sent out about Twitch specifically, right?
Who is Dan Clancy?
Dan Clancy is the current acting CEO of Twitch.
Oh, okay.
That is Dan Clancy. Viewbotting is bad for business. We don't benefit from it, and we believe it harms the creator ecosystem overall. This is a quote by Dan Clancy, public on Twitter. It is in response to an update that Twitch made recently in an effort to combat Viewbots. Let me see if I can find the exact
Viewbotting doesn't
tweet.
make us any money, so we've decided to put the kibosh on that.
Here we go. This is a long tweet, but you clicked on a podcast, so I don't want to hear it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So here's a post by Twitch support. This is the Twitter account that posts up the major updates to Twitch. This is an official channel, is what I'm trying to say. A note on our work to combat viewbotting from CEO Dan Clancy. There's been a lot of discussion recently about viewbotting on Twitch, and I want to share an update on our enforcement efforts. Viewbotting is bad for our business. We don't benefit from it, and we believe it harms the creator ecosystem overall. This is the quote that was taken by Dexerto. However, effectively combating viewbotting is challenging. As we deploy updates to our real-time detection algorithms, viewbotting companies quickly respond with updates to avoid detection. Also, our detection systems must be precise to ensure the legitimate viewers are still appropriately counted. From Twitch, you can imagine that it's relatively easy for them to see, hey, 50,000 people are watching this streamer, and 20,000 of them all seem to be coming from the exact same house somewhere in Ukraine. Okay, that's pretty easy, right?
Yeah.
But if you were to find that an American English-speaking streamer had 10,000 people from all over Brazil, now it's like, okay, do we assume that this streamer is really popular in the Portuguese-speaking communities? Or do we just assume all of Brazil is in on the viewbotting? Maybe they just have a large audience that uses VPNs and that's the fastest connection. There's a little bit of complications that come with trying to attack something with this level of technical prowess, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And obviously, you don't want to end up in a situation where you blanket ban anybody who isn't in the same country as the person who's streaming, and suddenly they lose half their viewership and, to legitimate people that are watching. The tweet goes on to state, today we're introducing a new enforcement type that we plan to roll out over the next few weeks. For channels identified as persistently viewbotting, we will apply a cap to the streamer's CCV, that is current consistent views or something like that. It's average number of live views is what CCV is for a fixed period of time on all of our Twitch surfaces. The cap will be based upon historical data regarding that creator's non-viewbotted traffic. Repeated violations will result in longer penalties. Streamers will be notified when an enforcement is applied along with the duration of the penalty and can appeal through the appeals portal. This is stating that if Twitch can see that 6 months ago you averaged 10,000 viewers and 10,000 viewers only, and starting 6 months ago it became very clear that you were starting to get 50,000 people watching you concurrently, 40,000 of which join in the first 5 minutes that you go live, which again, according to Summit 1G, is very uncommon for anything before the first 3 hours of a stream, then Twitch will put a cap on your live stream. They will make it so that your live stream shows that you only have that first 10,000 people as you did 6 months ago from when they could factor in you weren't viewbotting anymore. And that would make it so that you could no longer dominate a category or hold the number one spot in recommendations purely based on the number of people watching you for a fixed period of time. And they're basing this based on their non-viewbotted traffic. So they're going to take a look at when they think you weren't viewbotting, which again, they have already admitted they can't really tell apart, and then limit you to that number, at least as far as what's visible and how you're recommended in the algorithm. While streamers will be notified, we will not make a follow-on announcement where we will be issuing these enforcements. We will not publicly share details about when and where these enforcements are applied. Unfortunately, providing details simply makes it easier for companies to work around our interventions. We believe this approach will help us make meaningful progress against viewbotting. We will continue refining our systems and expand when we apply these enforcements over time. A very popular response to this was from fan favorite Pirate Software. We all love Thor. The more I see the public discourse on this, the less it all makes sense. If Twitch can identify viewbots through historical data, then why can't they strip only the viewbots instead of just applying an arbitrary cap on views overall? It's because they can't. The Viewbots people use today are primarily done through embedded traffic on third-party sites, that whole Wikipedia thing I explained a minute ago. Distributed over many different areas and routed back to the channel. This means it's real people, it's real traffic, and it's a real website. It's just that the stream is in the corner, or it's played as an ad, or it's hidden as a single pixel. This still counts as a viewer, and it inflates the channel's numbers. The view capping that they're planning doesn't actually fix the issue, and it likely paints targets on streamers' back. I disagree with this, but I want you to understand the entire picture before we start giving our opinions. If someone gets capped, it will be shown as proof of viewbotting, even if it was someone else trying to hit that streamer. We already see tons of people using third-party browser plugins and starting witch hunts over flimsy data thinking viewers are bots. This just makes it quote-unquote official. So what Pirate Software here is saying is that if you can't figure out exactly who is a viewbot, how many viewbots there are, this arbitrary cap is seemingly only going to be applied at the discretion of Twitch. They're going to decide that your channel is viewbotting, which again, they can't perfectly tell. And then as a result, they're going to put a cap on your viewership to the tune of what they think your viewership should be. And then from there, you're just going to have to deal with the fact that you have viewerships. The concern that the concern that Pirate Software brings up here is you don't have to viewbot your own channel, right? If I decided to go to a viewbotting website and send 50,000 viewbots to someone I hate...
Yeah, you can fuck people's channels up pretty easily.
The idea is that by sending this illegitimate traffic over to somebody, you could put them in hot water with Twitch, because all Twitch is going to see is that they are being viewbotted. Yeah. And they're not going to be able to tell that they aren't the ones doing it themselves. And so this can make it so that you can fuck up people's numbers. Why would anybody do that? Does anybody have enough hate boner for another streamer that they would spend tens of thousands of dollars sending things over to their end? It's happened in the past, even before.
I was going to say it's kind of similar to when YouTube made, because I think they ended up changing it, but YouTube for a while, I think they had your comment section could like get your video demonetized. Do you remember that?
YouTube
And
had a
people were
similar
like,
situation.
Bruh,
Yep.
someone could just send a bunch of people over to say a bunch of bad words in my comment section and nuke my video. This is stupid.
Exactly. YouTube had exactly that. They had a situation where they would automatically flag videos not for the swearing, racism, nudity, or whatever featured in the video, but rather if it seemed like there was a large chunk of that coming from the comments. And because it's very easy to bot comments, people would do nefarious things, such as sending 500 bots to comment the N-word under somebody's video, flag that video as, hey, this has a really inappropriate community under it, and then get some YouTuber's video taken down for illegitimate causes. And YouTube's channels for remedying this sort of thing are weak, to say the best.
Yeah.
Even before VTubing, even before viewbotting was a very popular topic of conversation for big streamers, people used to do this back in the day. People used to send Viewbots to small streamers, and they would go live one day and then randomly have 350 people watching, allegedly. They wouldn't have any new chatters. They'd be like, wow, where'd all you guys come from? And nobody would answer because none of it was real.
Yeah, exactly.
And they would post on small YouTuber and small streamer subreddits, and they'd be like, guys, I randomly went super viral. It says all of my audience is suddenly from Russia or Chechnya. Like, what is happening here? And basically people would do it to fuck with you. Sometimes it'd be like, hey, here, have a gift. I had a promotion. This only cost me $30. Hopefully this raises your average viewership. Maybe you'll get Twitch partner. Who knows? But some people would do it nefariously. And now there's an incentive to, because Twitch has publicly come out and said that they are going to start cracking down on people that they see are viewbotting. Not people that are purposely doing it, accidentally doing it at the high end, doing it at the low end. Does 5 Viewbots count? Does 500 Viewbots count? It's now a target that you can put on people's back. Now, some of you guys might be wondering, who has enough of a hate boner to spend money to do this to one other person? Like, yeah. Even if you really dislike another streamer, I mean, if it's somebody you don't like and they're big and you have the money to, like, get a life. You know what I mean? But it's not that necessarily. I couldn't find the exact tweet that I swear I had pulled up. But somebody tweeted that, with no real evidence, mind you, but somebody tweeted that they were aware of a group of Discord channels, big streamers, industry professionals, Viewbot owners, and game publishers that would all sit in these channels and chat with each other and orchestrate exactly these sorts of things. What they alleged is that game publishers would be coming out with a brand new video game. And rather than spending money on advertising to get people to play it, which they already do, or what you might think, spending money to get Viewbots to advertise the people playing it, so everybody who's playing it thinks, hey, everybody who's playing this new game is getting a lot of views, I should play it. Yeah. And then inflating video games. They're actually kind of doing the opposite. What they're instead doing is sending Viewbots to their competitors' video games, paying money to get a bunch of artificial viewers to show up in those channels, because it's such a hot button topic right now to shit on people for viewbotting.
Gives the publishers a bad name or a bad look.
And now it gives a bunch of streamers an ick, thinking it must be the game that I'm playing that's causing these viewbotters to show up, or the people watching me play this game. I'm going to not play this game anymore. I'm no longer going to advertise to the 5,000 people who watch me that I love playing this new Skyrim horse mod. I'm just going to go do something else. And,
yeah, because I don't want to get nuked by Twitch.
And now, if this goes into play, they have a legitimate... allegedly, they've been doing this for months, right? Viewbotting has been a normal thing that you reach out to your big streamer friends. They hook you up with a website or a guy, and you spend some of your income that you earn from Twitch inflating your numbers, getting clippers, getting Dexerto to tweet out, a thing that you did, that sort of situation. And now it's just gotten worse and worse as a result. Most of this came up because of our boy, the Burnt Peanut. This is the dude that started the big conversation around
to squash him.
Viewbotting. Now, it started with a single tweet. That I'm definitely not going to find. But basically somebody tweeted out, and this was just like a shitposty I don't like the streamer tweet. It wasn't this big analytical starting a conversation sort of tweet. But it was somebody who was like, you cannot tell me that this burnt peanut motherfucker isn't an industry plant. This dude shows up out of nowhere, has been streaming for exactly 2 years, and in that time is currently guiding 80,000 live viewers, the most live streamer views of anybody on the entire website, even over people like XQC and Summit1G that have been streaming for 15 fucking years, playing the exact same game with the exact same 13-year-old Call of Duty Modern Warfare lobby style comedy that we've seen for decades. You're telling me this popped off? Fuck
Tel
no.
Aviv impressed.
This is the most view-botted shit I have ever seen in my life. And people were like, what? Viewbotting? What even is that? Here's a tweet
What
from
is a Viewbot, sir?
Here is a response from the burnt man himself. In response to these Viewbotting allegations.
You know what? They're gonna clip whatever I say anyways. Might as well make it good. You guys mind if I be a little unhumble? Hey guys, I don't like being unhumble. I like hanging out with you boys and gaming, but I kind of got.
This is the biggest streamer in the world, by the way.
Yeah, this is the biggest streamer in the world right now.
Biggest streamer in the world.
I had a coworker at a place I worked at previously who was super into it and would like force me to watch clips. And I had to just be like,
I had a buddy of mine. I messaged him at like 9 p.m. and I was like, there's nobody to watch on Twitch. What do I do? All my normal streamers that I watch aren't streaming. And he was like, bro, watch the Peanut. And this was before, and I didn't have a reason to hate him. I hadn't heard about him from anything. No big news. I had no reason to dislike this guy. I click on his stream. He's playing fucking. I don't even know what he's playing. He's playing one of the shooters, one of the looter shooters with your friends.
Probably like Arc Raiders or something.
Probably Arc Raiders. And immediately I was like, this is the most NPC shit I've ever seen in my life. I cannot believe you recommended this to me. You have been watching Twitch longer than I've been watching Twitch. And you're considering this the peak of entertainment? This guy making toilet humor behind the mask of a peanut? I cannot believe this. And that was my first impression of this guy. You remember when I told you I have a really good fucking sense for these things? I have
Bullshit
a really good
meter
fucking...
on alert.
It's insane.
Just kind of got you. Guys, I call viewbotting the loser's topic.
Now, I'm going to go ahead and ask you to pay attention to where he denies viewbotting here. Spoilers, he don't.
That's what I call it. You have too many viewers, not enough likes, you're viewbotting. You have too many viewers, you have too many likes, you're likebotting. You have too many viewers, you don't have enough subscribers, you're viewbotting. You have too many viewers, too many subscribers, you're subscribe-botting. You have too many viewers on Twitch, you don't have as much viewers on Kick, you're viewbotting on Twitch. If you have too many viewers on YouTube, but you don't have as many viewers on Twitch, you're viewing on YouTube. You can spin it any way you can. At the base of it, it's code. At the base of the argument, it's code. There's no way to prove anyone is viewbotting or if they're not.
Now, that's true. There is no way to prove that anybody is or isn't viewbotting. Now, one would believe, actually looking back at this video from a year ago, it's actually incredibly smart that he didn't just go, yeah, I'm viewbotting, what are you going to do about it? Even though that's essentially what he says. He would kind of just be the only streamer to have a target on his back. He would be the poster child for these changes that Twitch is implementing if he did that, actually. Because as much as everybody else has been talking about viewbotting, Jinxie, XQC, Summit1G, Pokimane, none of these guys have just come out and been like, yeah, everybody does it. Even me. Nobody has said even me. And I think he was very smart to have not done that. But this is what started this entire conversation. This is from February 5th of, I think, last year. It's quite a while ago at this point. That this conversation came up around the burnt peanut. And the reason for this is because the burnt peanut very much came up out of nowhere. And that doesn't fucking happen. It might happen in YouTube. You could have one big video that randomly gets 1 million views, and suddenly you are the de facto tourist, vlogger, meme reviewer, video, whatever, you know? Maybe. And that's because the algorithm on YouTube works in mysterious ways. The algorithm on Twitch does not. The algorithm on Twitch is just, here's the person with the most views for the game you're watching. Here's the top 5 people. We're going to stick them on the left side of your screen. That's it. That's all there is. There is no random button. You don't get a page full of random streams that look like they might be fun to click on. It's just whoever's got the most viewers.
Luck that comes into it is if a big streamer happens to scroll to the bottom of a game just to like raid some small streamer because they feel like, you know, dumping their audience on someone for some kindness, some goodness and cheer. That's really the only luck you get.
And that is the reason why raiding is regarded as such a high culture move, because it's something that very exclusively only existed on Twitch for quite a while, and it really was the only way to grow. And it went hand in hand with meeting other people in the streaming community. You don't raid streamers, you raid people who have raided you or you've played a game with, and it built up these communities of people that watch not just the one streamer they discovered and watch every day, but the people that they've raided, their friends, their groups, blah, blah, blah. It was an entire internal meshing that worked very well, despite the fact that overall suggestions on Twitch were relatively lacking. But it's very clear. The only way to find anything on Twitch is if people have a lot of views. And so it makes a lot of sense that the only way you would find somebody on Twitch who suddenly has 50,000 people watching them one day is if they had 49,000 people watching them before, and 40,000 people before that, and 20,000 people before that. A lot of people point to Queso. You familiar with Queso?
Yep.
Big fat Queso. When Queso had 1,000 people watching him only, people on his subreddit currently talk about missing the old days of small streamer Queso, where his chat was legible and it wasn't just people telling him to play the newest, brightest AAA title and could continue to instead play AAA indie slop horror games as he grew to prominence doing. And only after he started to blow up by posting these viral clips on TikTok did you see his numbers start to skyrocket. And when you take a look at somebody who averages 20, 30,000 people watching them like Queso, there is a breadcrumb trail of everything that led up to that point, where he had 10,000 viewers the year before that, and the year before that, and the year before that. And everybody's aware of the viral clips of Queso getting called fat, electrocuting his whole fucking theme park and pool park simulator, and all the shit that went viral. Lego. Exactly. All this stuff that led to him getting to this size. The Burnt Peanut has none of that.
Zero.
The Burnt Peanut has been streaming for 2 years to the dot. There are a few clips of him streaming as a flesh tuber, no peanut face, just a guy, whinier voice, you know, old YouTube deleted channels. It's not like he didn't exist on the... We're not saying he's an industry plant. He's a legume, for God's sakes, right?
I'm saying he's an Israeli plant.
I am on the side of everybody calling this suspicious for that reason specifically. You're telling me 15 years into Twitch's lifespan, this is the first time ever? You know, I've seen fucking Ty Dolla Sign started streaming the other week to 100 people.
Exactly.
From the back of a fucking Maybach. You know? Yeah. If that guy
Maybach music
with real fucking fame that might randomly have a lot of people clicking on a stream, both because he's famous and the novelty of it being his first stream ever, and like, what the fuck is this guy doing on Twitch? If that guy averages 100 people, you're telling me this fucking peanut dipshit is doing 80,000 in the middle of the fucking night playing with randoms and Arc Raiders?
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
This is nonsense.
Yeah, no, it blows.
A lot of people share that sentiment, have used it in an effort to throw hate and shade towards the peanut. And listen, while his streams aren't necessarily my thing, my distaste for the guy just comes from, you know, you got to set an example. You got to be a role model when you're at these sizes, you know. If you're at the front of traffic, you know, you got to lead the people behind you. You don't slow down to 40 miles an hour. You don't act like... I had a streaming friend who blew up to... He was a pretty small streamer. He was maybe like a 1K Andy. And I had another friend who was like a normal guy. He didn't have any online presence. He streamed because he was friends with the streamer, and he was like, oh, maybe it'll grow my channel, blah, blah, blah. And he would average like 5 people watching him, right? And he would talk to this dude every day because they would just play games together. And he would ask him, he'd be like, dude, I want to be a streamer. I'm young. This is, I could go to college, but like, I've got you guys. We play all the time, blah, blah, blah. How do I grow? How do I grow? How do I get more people to watch me? What do I do? What did you do? What did you do, Mr. Big Streamer? He could provide nothing. No sources of information, no tips. His streams themselves were just him chatting and doing basically nothing. He had maybe 1,000 people watching him then. He's actually been too much information, and it'll be a little obvious who I'm talking about. Yeah. But it's like, this guy never knew how to grow a stream. He was just gifted a bunch of viewers from one way or another. And now when put in a position where he can guide a genuine friend of his that wants to follow in his footsteps, bro can provide zero guidance.
Zip.
What are you talking about? If I was a famous musician and I couldn't look at a small musician and give them any advice, I would consider myself a failure. I feel like I pride myself more on how much I can help somebody else grow their YouTube channel than I do to my own. Because at least on mine, I can go, I'm at the size where it's just a matter of time that I start doing the right thing and the algorithm does its job. But God forbid, can you imagine somebody, I mean, I don't know if YouTube and content creation is necessarily something you consider like an area of expertise, but like somebody comes to you with a question about editing, very simple baseline, I want to get into making movies. Can you imagine being in a situation where it's like, I don't know, man, I made my first one and it was a blockbuster.
Yeah,
do that, I guess.
Like, yeah.
What the fuck?
Just make a movie?
I guess just keep streaming, man. Just keep streaming. Which is the worst advice. Just keep streaming.
Yeah. No, that is weird that you wouldn't be able to give anything. I mean,
my argument is the burnt peanut wouldn't either.
A little bit of something.
Imagine not even being able to tell your own story. Here's what I did, because it's so incredibly detached from any of the small YouTubing stuff. I remember when he asked me, and I was like, you need to stop acting like this bigger streamer friend of ours. You keep doing this thing where you're trying to hit hype moments in video games, and you're breaking into bits and sketches and ignoring your chat in order to focus on your... There's 10 people watching you. You need to start talking to people by name. When somebody follows you, you need to say thank you. You need to do all the small streamer shit that everybody talks about. You don't get to just jump to what he's doing as if that's going to make a difference for you. People stop watching big streamers because their chats start feeling like just a firewall of stuff nobody reads. People stop following big streamers because they're like, I mean, this guy's not even going to read my name out. That's 50% of the reason I even click the follow button.
Exactly.
What am I doing subscribing to a guy who already makes $1 million a year? Somebody else could use this.
Yeah.
You don't get to just jump to that.
Yeah, no, exactly. Or else you just come off as
you get all the worst parts of being a famous guy without all the benefits of being a famous guy.
Exactly. You just look like a loser.
You just look like a loser. Now, Twitch has noticed and has decided, now, maybe it's a flawed execution of doing something about viewbotting, but they're moving to do something about viewbotting. The CEO of Twitch has put out a public statement saying, this doesn't help us. We don't fuck with it. We're going to take steps to try to remedy this. Again, maybe a flawed execution. Maybe it's just legalese speak for them to be able to pick and choose who does get away with viewbotting. Because here's the thing, it doesn't make them money. On YouTube, at least more views, even if they're... So, I gotta nerd this out, right? Let's take that Wikipedia example I gave you earlier in the SHPODCAST, where your video is played very small in the corner of a website. That person is never going to comment on your video. They don't even know they're watching it.
They don't know they're watching it, so
they're not going to search. They're not going to blah, blah, blah. So that person can never subscribe to you on Twitch. They can't give you a Prime sub. They can't gift you bits. They can't send you a message saying that you look very handsome today. None of the things that actually come with having more people watching you. The thing is, over on YouTube, 1,000 views is 1,000 views, right?
Yeah.
You get paid based on how many people click and watch an ad. And if you're paying for Viewbots to click and watch a video, it's not like the Viewbots are going to hit the skip ad button. It's not like the Viewbots are paying for YouTube Premium. Even if they are robotic views, maybe it doesn't raise your RPM directly because they're not spending money. But to an advertiser who is paying money to put an ad in front of you on YouTube, does YouTube care if 50,000 of those views aren't real people, are they not just going to the advertiser and going, hey, we can get you 1 million views for $10,000? You know?
Yeah, that feels like one of those, it feels like a bubble that is doomed to burst at a certain point when companies realize that YouTube's just been ignoring the inflated numbers on what's actually being, like, the amount of people that have bought something or helped them versus the amount of views. At some point, Coca-Cola is going to be like, what's with these numbers, bruh?
I knew you were more than just a pretty face, Andrew. The keen-eyed listeners of you guys might notice where this starts to fall apart. Eventually, in the YouTube situation, advertisers are going to go from paying $50,000 for every 10 million views that their ad gets on YouTube and using, what number did I say, $50 million?
Yeah, something like that.
Using that $50 million, let's go with $5 million. Spending $5 million to run their ads, and let's say YouTube promises them 10 million impressions or whatever. Eventually, 3 months or a fiscal quarter down the line, they're going to go, hey, we spent $5 million advertising to 10 million views on YouTube. That raised our impressions, got us more clicks, and we ended up making back $4 million in Coca-Cola money. We're going to do that again. For only losing $1 million and getting, 3.5 million of that from new Coca-Cola users, we're acquiring more market share. This is worth it for us. We're going to keep going. At a certain point, they're going to see that same $5 million they're spending on 10 million views on YouTube is coming back $1 million short. That means that there's an extra $1 million just being deleted somewhere.
Yeah.
And YouTube is going to have to address the fact that, oh shit, that 10 million views you were getting before that you paid us $5 million for were going to 10 million potential Coca-Cola drinkers is now going to 6 million potential Coca-Cola drinkers and 4 million random videos on Wikipedia where the people don't even know they're watching the video.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
10 million fake guys.
Once that gets to a point where Coca-Cola decides, hey, YouTube, we're going to only pay $3 million for that 10 million views, by the way, because the return we're getting is half of what we were getting before. Figure your shit out, but this is what this is worth to us now. YouTube is going to end up in a situation where they need to do two things. They're either going to need to increase the amount of viewership that they get to compensate for this, rather than sell 10 million views for 5 mil, sell 20 million views for that same 5 mil, or they're going to need to find a way to get back to that 10 million views being humans rather than 60% computers or whatever. And this is where it gets very scary for me, Andrew, because I'm a little bit worried that YouTube is going to decide, with the introduction of AI, short form clicks, YouTube shorts, all getting inflated numbers of 10, 20 million views, they might think it's easier to just sell twice as many views.
Yeah, just expand the bubble.
They might just decide, fuck it, let's just put your ads in front of more people, collect the bigger paycheck. Actually fixing this problem would cost us money in research development and figuring out what's even going on here.
This seems like a problem for gay future YouTube to deal with. not right now, YouTube. We're just gonna take the extra money.
YouTube has also made a change that took place maybe 2 or 3 years ago, where they have completely stopped counting viewership from people who are running an ad blocker. This was initially an issue with ad blockers in general. All ad blockers, regardless of which one you type into and download for your Google Chrome, all pull from the same repository. They all grab the same list of what they consider an ad.
Gotcha.
And at one point a couple years ago, that repository was updated to include a packet that interfered with the way that YouTube counted views. In layman's terms, if you had an ad blocker installed, any ad blocker installed on YouTube, that ad blocker would mess with the YouTube player in a way that the YouTube video was not able to count you as someone who watched the video. And so overnight, in like September of 2023, all YouTubers started to notice, or many big, primarily tech and video game YouTubers started to notice the better part of like a 30% decrease, specifically in views coming from desktop viewership. Ironically, this did not affect any viewership from phones or any viewership from TVs. And it was eventually found out several months later that this issue came from people with ad blockers, which made sense because roughly 30% of people watching your video using an ad blocker, that number sounds about right.
That sounds about right.
0% of people on a phone? Yeah, who has an ad blocker for YouTube ads on their smartphone? That's a little rare.
Yeah, that's crazy.
0% coming from your TV. Exact same thing as the smartphone. Doing some digging, they were able to find that the issue was coming from this repository, and that was updated recently, right? But now, on YouTube's end of things, they have started to no longer, or they have continued to no longer count ads from anybody who is using an ad blocker. And to my understanding, YouTube's reasoning for this, actually, I'm going to take a quick Google to make sure that's YouTube not counting ad block viewers. I'm going to quickly fact check this. Now, according to this AI overview, it says that it's from August 2025 that YouTube isn't counting it, but then it specifically sources that the reason is because of ad blockers blocking this feature. So I don't believe that's from YouTube themselves. But either way, as of now, it is still looking like I can personally say my videos are still getting 30% less views than they were before that point in time, right? YouTube seems to not be fixing this issue. Why would they? If you're an ad block user, this means you are not watching any advertisements on YouTube. YouTube makes 100% of their money from you watching advertisements on YouTube. So now the opposite has happened. Reverse viewbotting. People are now, that same $5 million that Coca-Cola was paying for 10 million views used to be 7 million people that watched the Coca-Cola ad and 3 million people that had an ad blocker on them and never saw the Coca-Cola ad. And Coca-Cola would make $4 million back. But now that YouTube is no longer counting ad block users, when Coca-Cola pays $5 million for 10 million YouTube views, all 10 million of those people are seeing that Coca-Cola ad. Because if you're not seeing the ad from an ad blocker, you're not being counted in that 10 million views. And so now Coca-Cola is seeing $4.5 million back on the $5 million they're making. They're coming back to YouTube and going, hey, you're doing better than ever. We'll pay $6 million for this now. You're doing way better than whatever's going on with the viewbotting situations. And so YouTube has ended up in this situation where that viewership isn't paying people stuff. Now, that doesn't matter for YouTubers getting paid. Because again, if you were using an ad blocker and watching YouTube videos, even though your video is getting 10,000 views instead of 20,000 views, that extra 10,000 people that aren't watching you anymore weren't making you any money. So despite your video getting half as many views, you're actually making about the same amount of money from YouTube, viewership-wise. The issue comes into everything else. Because the views that you get on your video do not just dictate how much money you get from YouTube AdSense, which, as we just said, is unaffected. It also affects how much money you get paid from sponsors. And if a sponsor is paying based on how many people watch your videos, which is what they do, and your videos are getting half as many views, which is the only thing a sponsor looks at, it doesn't matter if YouTube's paying the same. Sponsors are going to pay you half because you're getting half as many views. And now all of a sudden that more accurate representation of everybody who clicked and watched your video is now costing you cash. You are getting paid less for that. Not just that, YouTube works on a tiered recommendation system. When you upload a video to YouTube, it tests it in front of like 100 people. And then if 80 of those click on it, they test it to 1,000 people. And if 800 of those guys click on it, they test it to 10,000 people. And so on and so forth. And if you consistently get a shit ton of people clicking and watching your video all the way through, that's how it gets millions and millions of views. But if any part of that tiered recommendation ends up with not 80% of people clicking, then it doesn't get recommended to that next tier of people and your video dies in the water. It doesn't get recommended in the algorithm. You don't get as many views on that. If YouTube just decides to start arbitrarily cutting a bunch of people's numbers 30% across the board, you're now half the YouTuber you were before this random change. Your videos might have used to get 10,000 views and 50,000 if it's a good one. Now your videos are getting 7,000 views and none of them get up to 50,000 as a good one, because for it to be a good one, it would have to cross over 15,000 views, which is now basically impossible for you because it might not even get put in front of 50,000 people YouTube's even counting as a view.
Yeah.
So now your search algorithm is fucked. Your sponsorship money is fucked. Not only that, you don't count for referral clicks or anything either, because these people aren't being counted as people that are watching your video. All it does is put more money in YouTube's pockets, and it doesn't do anything for major YouTubers. A lot of people have been struggling with this for the better part of a year at this point, Andrew. It's pretty cringe.
Cool site.
Cool site. AI is more than just AI slop. This introduction of people's mentality about content creation to just be a fast track to go from sit at computer, receive paycheck has started to spread its stupid little tentacles into every facet of content creation known to man. You don't make content? No problem. Just buy it and then resell it. And then you've made money. That's the goal after all, isn't it? You don't want to buy and sell channels? You don't want to put any money into it yourself? Cool. Grab somebody else's videos, chop them up and do a bunch of views, and then upload it. Every video that gets seen by people is going to make you $0, but for the 1 in 1,000 that gets over 100,000 views, Mr. Beast will pay you $100. Why not make a AI model to automatically download every video Mr. Beast has ever made, chop it into 45-second updates, automatically add subtitles to it, and then upload it to a TikTok account, none of which has your name or credence behind it? Why not set up a little robot that can do that? There are websites that'll do that for you, bro. Just pop in the URL of the video that you wanted to make. And then if you do that 30 or 40 times a day, something's going to start making you that sweet passive income everybody's wondering about. Yeah. That's too soulless. I want to actually make content. Great. But you better go fuck yourself if you're not going to buy Viewbots or pay promote your thing. Or, you know, what the fuck are we doing, man? Can I not just make funny videos anymore? What happened? Do people not just want to click and watch a funny podcast about two guys making jokes? Was that not the bread and butter of what this website used to be? How are we gonna? Do we gotta buy Viewbots?
I think the annoying thing is it is kind of still the bread and butter of the site, because I mean, it's just podcasting is bar none like the most successful,
that's the new
and lucrative
video
industry in the country right now. That's how awesome we're doing economically. Podcasting is the number one employer out there.
Rate us 5 stars, by the way.
Yeah, give us big 5 stars. Thank you, and God bless. I don't remember what I was saying.
It unfortunately does seem to still be the bread and butter of a lot of these websites, is podcasting.
Oh, yeah, it just doesn't seem to be the bread and butter of the people running it. It seems like it's gone from YouTube to, well, this is our tube, actually, and if you could do everything you can to make us money, that would be great. Thank you. Mwah.
Yeah. What do you think somebody needs to do in order to succeed from where you and I started? I've got an idea that I have fun making videos about. I know a lot about how to grow tomatoes, and people seem to struggle with that. That's a problem I could fix for people. I play Fortnite so fucking much, man. I wish I could share all these funny fucking bits and jokes me and my friends got. Maybe I should make a gaming channel on YouTube, get people to watch that. Is there space for a dude who just wants to make honest content and get it seen by people? Or is the idea of this becoming a job just a matter of if you have seed money, like every other business? Because that's what this is now.
I think if you want to make it a job quickly, then yeah, no, you pretty much have to do every kind of cheat code, morally gray business deal that you can to get your shit seen by as many people as possible. If you're just making shit that you enjoy, like you said, tomato farmer guy, like if you're just like, man, I love planting my tomatoes. I grow pretty good ones.
Tomato Dave, get a day job.
I got a camera, and I kind of like editing stuff, so I'll make some. If you just like doing that kind of stuff can very easily get you nothing. You just do it as a hobby. But it can also turn into like a fucking Outdoor Boys situation where it just goes nuclear. And, you know, one day you're a guy hanging out in the woods by yourself or doing shit with your kids. And the next thing you know, you're like, I got to retire because I'm too famous. And I don't like being this famous.
What a scrub-ass exit, by the way. But yeah, sure, go off, King, I guess.
Yeah, no, I know. It made me really sad because that was some premium late-night comfort content.
What kind of dude...
Watching my fellow Alaskan boy.
What kind of dude who spends the time to make the quality of content that guy does, talking about Outdoor Boys here, decides to step... Like, you're not going to stop outdoorsing. You know, most of the time... I mean, to be fair, that guy had a critical... He rolled a 1 with his channel. If you guys aren't aware, in the early days of the Outdoor Boys, the channel was founded in an effort for... What's his name? Sean? Jake?
Yes.
Blank here with the Outdoor Boys YouTube channel.
Luke
Luke
here with the Outdoor Boys YouTube channel.
Luke originally made that channel in order to share his outdoor excursions with his children. And so he would show these videos of him teaching his kids how to woodwork, chop down a tree, build a tent.
I think he was a DUI lawyer in Virginia for a while.
He was a DUI lawyer in Virginia and then moved up to Alaska for God knows what fucking reason. For that. Like, what better place to be a DUI lawyer than just south of fucking Baltimore? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
the money must have been
it is
easy.
A great place to do. I think he was born in Alaska, so I think it was kind of a me situation.
He's literally you.
Yeah, he's literally
you.
He's the Mormon version.
His channel got completely demonetized. Every video on his channel, which would garner tens of millions of views and upload, hundreds of millions of views a month, he would have his entire channel marked as for kids. This is typically reserved, or at least I thought it was supposed to be reserved, for channels that upload Daddy Shark, little kids music videos, children's animation, or content where the child was the YouTube channel. Yeah. In an effort to make it so that YouTube bumped into this huge thing where there were a bunch of predators and scammers meeting up with each other in the comments of these videos and, you know, seemingly exploiting stuff. There became an entire expose, and YouTube needed to mark down on it because the fucking federal government was like, you're using targeted ads and not discerning whether or not they're being applied to children watching this content. So they had to make a separate category for children's content, and they did. If you are marked in this children's category content, the videos cannot be played in a mini player. Not that that really matters. You are not allowed to have any comments on your videos. You are not allowed to have any user targeting advertisements. Those are the big money ones, the ones that track your cookies, learn that you're pregnant, and then sell you every pregnancy related targeted ad possible. You cannot have that on children focused content. And Luke's channel, despite it being primarily him, 50-something-year-old, you know, adult, because he featured his children so prominently in his early videos, the entire channel got marked as for kids, which means these videos that he spends several days hiking out and doing outdoor shit, and then tens of, you know, not hundreds, but tens of hours editing down, and in these long form videos they get tens of millions of views, don't make him 1 red cent. For that reason, I could see why you would stop doing that shit, because anybody else in his shoes would be making 6 figures a year, arguably 6 figures a month, because he dominates his space. He is the outdoor channel.
Yeah, he's the outdoor channel.
I imagine you could not step away from that whatsoever. But the guy decided to stop doing it. I don't blame him for that reason. The fact that he said it was because he wanted to focus more on his...
Did it get switched over ever? Because he, like, I mean, he went hunting and stuff. Like, there was multiple videos of butchering things, and how is YouTube seeing that being like, yeah, it is for kids?
If I look,
that's speaking as like a corporation. Like, for me, I grew up around that, so like as a kid that wouldn't have bugged me, but there's a lot of parents that would be like, what the hell?
So that was the ongoing story and what I could find from his subreddits when I was researching into this a year ago when he quit, 5-6 months ago when he quit. A lot of people pointed to the fact that the comments are turned off on all of his videos, which is indicative of a for kids only channel. Yeah. They disallow comments. That is not true. If you take a look at his channel here, it is... come on, Riverside. If you take a look at his channel here and you take a look at the language here, it says comments are turned off.
Yeah, I think he turned them off because he just doesn't... I mean, he's kind of private, but he just didn't want people talking shit about his family and stuff. He was just like, I'm not dealing with it.
Evidently, people were saying weird shit about his kids, is what the subreddit stated. This is not what you see on a kid's channel. If I were to instead pull up Baby Shark, which I think will be pulled up on a kid's channel, right?
Oh, my... that scared me.
Oh, no, it also says comments are turned off. Oh, I thought it said comments are disabled. But you see right here where it says try YouTube Kids, an app made for kids? Because this is a kids channel. But if we go back to Luke... Shut up, Luke. Doesn't have that tab. It's pretty clear that's not the case anymore. Which means,
Luke here.
at least to my understanding, he might be still making money on these things. At the very least, it doesn't...
I would suspect that maybe his older ones with his kids had that set up, but there's no way those newer ones where he's like out, like when he moved back up to Alaska and started doing Alaska shit again, you know,
he doesn't even really have his kids in the channels anymore.
Exactly, like his kids don't make as much of an appearance, and there's very much not, at least to YouTube, kid-friendly content there, so he has to have been making some money off of the newer ones.
It's freaky, and it's freaky deaky, but...
That would have been my dad if he had been more tech savvy.
Had sex with your mom. Oh. Yeah. Oh, that's what you mean. Yeah, so Viewbotting sucks. If you guys want to fight Viewbotting, like the video. It's literally all you got to do. Make sure you're subscribed if you enjoy listening to the SHPODCAST. If you're on Spotify or Apple Podcasts or whatever, rate us 5 stars. The video version of this is uploaded to YouTube and on Spotify. Spotify lets you upload videos for some reason, so I've also been doing that. Make sure you subscribe on YouTube. Again, bonus episodes for every one of these over on the Patreon, along with a bunch of bonus shit for only $5 a month. Helps out the show. Funds our Viewbotting fund so that we can become the Joe Rogan of the left. That's been the goal, after all. And I thank you guys for listening.
Us or beef, because we've been over there trying to make it happen as well. So
it looks like the next step in progression. We can't fight it.
We can't.
We can't fight it. Everything's futile. Subscribe to the channel. See you guys. Peace out.